Any
Yeah.
questions in the chat that I can try to attack first?
Yeah. One of the questions is, how does this work with velocity banking?
Great question. Great question. So again, a lot of you have come here through individuals like either CJ or Denzel or maybe Frank or obviously Christy. Well, our concept was actually originally predicated on leveraging that very concept behind velocity banking. You know, people think this is kind of a new concept, but it goes back about 30 years. Originally, it was the Royal Bank of Scotland and Richard Branson that created what they call the one account or the one loan. And it was a first position HELOC. And then Macquarie did it in Australia. And then CMG and some other companies started to do it in the States about 20 years ago. And the philosophy was great, right? Canceling out interest, fully amortized interest, and offsetting it with income and all that. Phenomenal strategy. The only shortcoming is that it's difficult for us to know at any given moment how much interest we cancel when we deposit that money, or how many months or years we added or subtracted based on the circumstantial change. So that is why we developed the Money Max account, to help give people better navigational information and input on how to better maximize that and know where they are. So the answer is absolutely positively this works perfectly with velocity banking, because our four primary strategies, there's 8 altogether, but the 4 primary pillars are strategic payoff. That means knowing exactly which debt to pay, how much and when, as Bill said, to the penny, to the debt, to the day, specifically every month. Number 2 is interest float. Well, you all know about interest float if you're following Christy and other people in Velocity Bank, or you've ever used a credit card or a line of credit. But now our system is taking that concept and putting it on steroids, which is why we call it accelerated velocity banking. Because now the system is going to help you maximize every single dollar every day by putting it to work for you to your advantage instead of the bank. Number 3, interest accumulation. Now, of course, 3-4 years ago, savings accounts were only paying 1/10 of a point or 1/4 of a point. Now they're paying most banks about 3%. They don't offer it, but if you ask, they will, right? They're going to be stingy. A lot of credit unions are 4%. Some online accounts are even in the mid 4s or the high 4s. So now that sequentially and systematically leveraging that money to be able to earn interest while canceling interest is very powerful. But last but not least, the most important, but the least understood, is interest cancellation. How do we leverage your income, your cash flow consistently and strategically to cancel interest you'd otherwise normally have to pay? So yeah, Dusty, absolutely. It is the perfect fit, hand in glove with velocity banking. And we help to accelerate and enhance the results that you normally get. As Christy said, that's why we can help debts be paid off a year or two faster using our system coinciding. But if you can't leverage a line of credit, you're also okay. We can use a high end or high yield savings account with a checking account and our system to yield some very similar, sometimes ironically even better results. So if you have a personal line of credit, great. Business line of credit, fine. Home equity line of credit, also great. But if you don't have one or can't qualify for one, you're still in business with us because our system isn't required upon it. Can work with it, Dusty, but it's not dependent.
Okay. One other question, is this available in Canada?
Interesting. So the question is, our system is designed to be compatible with the loans and the mortgages that are in Canada, because they are calculated a little bit differently. They're on a bi-weekly basis instead of once a month. However, we're not currently marketing in Canada because Canada changed their rules a handful of years ago, where now we'd physically have to have an office there, a physical building there, and the registration process is different. So that is probably something that we'll expand into, I'm guessing perhaps next year or there on beyond that. But currently we're not registered in Canada to do business in Canada as of now.
Okay. And then somebody asked, is this an MLM?
Well, no, we're not. However, we have 3 different divisions that we make our product available. We do have an outside sales force, a little like insurance agents or real estate agents. We have a private label division, not that that would have a lot of relevance with this conversation, but we do have partnerships with large companies that utilize our technology. But the division that I manage and head up is our direct sales initiative. It's our, I guess, if you will, B through B2C, where we're marketing in conjunction with influencers, financial planners, advisors, financial professionals, content creators, and we are a direct sale product. So it's our technology is utilized in many different platforms, but the product itself is completely independent of any sorts of other marketing vehicles or verticals or anything along those lines.
Okay. Can the system work for someone who has a negative cash flow?
Well, that one is a yes and a no. We always say that we can help anybody with debt, but not everybody with debt, because technically, of course, remember, it's math. It's not magic. So by rights, my diplomatic answer to you is going to be that we have to have at least $1 of net positive discretionary income. Now, there are some exceptions to that, which it would depend upon if we utilize our consolidation wizard. I'm not saying a consolidation loan, but part of our technology would give you an idea of how you could leverage available credit from different cards to create more cash flow. That is an opportunity that does exist sometimes. Or my other answer would be sometimes your shortfall is a short-term issue. You got laid off for a few months, but you're going to get another job soon. It's another powerful thing about the program because it will show you, I hate to say it, either how quickly you'll be out of debt and how much interest you'll save, or exactly when you're going to be totally broke. So it kind of gives you an idea that, okay, well, I've got 7 months to get a job, or I've got 4.3 months to get a job, right? So my financial professional compliant answer is you have to have at least $1 discretionary income. However, depending on what your reserves looks like, what your available credit looks like, there might be some exceptions to that. But if you schedule an appointment with a consultant, one of our specialists, they'll be able to crunch your numbers and see if that's a possibility, if we can be creative in the way that we help structure your program. And there may be scenarios where with some shortfalls, particularly if they're short term or they're for various reasons, that we might be able to make that work. But again, for certain, if you have at least $1 discretionary income. But I will say this, please don't let fear be the reason you don't do it. We've all been burnt. We've all made mistakes. I know I've certainly made more than my fair share. And unfortunately, nothing we can do can change the past. But every single thing we do from this point forward can change the future. And what if you could be debt free in 10, 15, or 20 years sooner? How would that change your outlook on what is possible for you in the future? Could you retire earlier? Again, could you buy that second home or an investment property or an RV to travel the world? Spend more time with your family? Absolutely. The biggest thing that we do, it's emotional for me to tell you this kind of, it isn't just technology. We give people hope back. And we give them the ability to think that, you know what, I might have made some mistakes along the way, but there literally is a solution to help me get control of this situation. And like I said, put us to the test. You see, a lot of people say this, it's got to be too good to be true. Well, I know why you'd initially think that way, but it's good, it's true, and we can prove it. In fact, we guarantee it because it's math. It's not magic. And we can verify and document all these results, and it will blow you away what is possible when you're able to strategically approach your finances in a different way. So, like I said, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We hope you learned a little bit. For those of you that wrote down any questions you have, if you'd like to type those in the chat. For those of you that obviously can't stay with us, we'll open up for another 15, 20 minutes for some Q&A. But if you don't do another thing, you got directed here and invited here for a reason. You're obviously looking for a better solution. You're looking for something that can help you and your family get out of debt. And we believe strongly that this could be the greatest decision you ever made. So I think it's phenomenal that you have the opportunity. Scan that QR code or click on the one in there. Inquire for a time that you can schedule with one of our consultants. Again, it's no cost, no obligation, consultation. We don't ask for your social security number. We don't need your account numbers. Don't need anything like that. Just the basic profile behind your financial situation. And if you don't do another thing, get at least your free savings report analysis so you can see what this system can do for you and put us to the test. So with that, for those of you that, of course, have to go, we totally understand. But this is the fun part of the event for us, actually. If you typed in a question, I'll let one of my admins here ask us what that question is. And then we'll open it up, whether you're audio or video, to ask a question yourself. Again, I know there's always some maybe cautious people that don't want to be the one to ask, or they don't want to ask first. Maybe you just want to listen to somebody else's questions. That's okay too. So with that, everybody, thank you so very much for being with us tonight. Again, my name is Richard Schaffer, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing your great stories with one of our team, very, very soon. Good night, everybody.